As an installer, one of the most important steps when working with a PowerView Kirsch Drapery rod is following our order of operations. It's important that we do this because it can actually inhibit our programming later on. But before we can actually see our drapery in the app, we first must complete a couple of steps. So let's take a look at what we need to do to first set up, program, and adjust some settings for our PowerView Drapery motor. When you're working with the Kirsch Drapery rod, you must first attach the motor to the rod. You will need to affix this by inserting it and turning it to align with the motor gear. It will look like this. You should hear a click. Make sure you hear the click before releasing the motor, as you don't want the motor to drop on you or the customer's home or furniture. We have now connected the motor. Now we need to power it up. First, we need to plug the motor into power. I will first plug the motor end into power using the male connector end, and then plug the DC power into the wall. Upon plugging the motor in, your motor will flash green to signify that it is powered up. Before I can see the drapery in the app, I must first set the open and close limits manually. Now I'm going to show this process to you twice for you to see. Once so that we can see what's happening, and a second time with the drapery fabric when we have actually set our limits, which is what you will do when you have the fabric on the headrail after it's all installed correctly. I'm going to first move the carriers to the fully open position where the drapery would need to be positioned when stacked back. Then I'm going to move the carriers to the fully closed position. Then I'm going to move the carriers again to the fully open position to finish establishing the limits. After setting the limits, your drapery will now be visible to add to your home and rooms in the PowerView app. However, I am not done, as there are steps that will need to be done in the app as well. After opening my PowerView app, I'm going to add new shades to my home. Let's go to More, Shades. When adding a drapery to a PowerView home, you will need to choose between 3 configuration options: a left stack, right stack, or a split stack. If you select the wrong stack side, the remote operation will seem reversed. Typically, upon adding a new shade to your home, you would always check and adjust the limits in the app as needed. However, with draperies, I'm not able to set the limits for the drapery in the app, as we have already set the limits manually. If you have done this wrong, you will need to reset the limits and start again. Once I have added the drapery, I can control the drapery. I am going to go to my More tab, Shades, click on the drapery and the thumbnail. Remember, I'm going left to right. By following these simple steps, you can make sure that your PowerView drapery with Kirsch hardware is set up correctly before you leave the home. Use the app and apply what you've learned and adjust additional settings to get the most out of your system.